Hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hope the sound's okay. A few bits of music, so just making sure it all works okay and you can hear me okay. And the music's not too loud. Music can be really loud today. So hopefully you can all hear me okay. A bit loud. It sounds a bit loud, but it is quite far down. Is that a wee bit better now? Bit of background music. Need a bit of background music when we're cooking. Make sure I get everything set up and ready to go before I get started. Today I'm going to make a vegan meatball. So they're made from mushrooms mainly, and they are vegan. Still a bit loud. So that's a bit better now. That's the bad. I don't know what's happening today. But yeah, that should be a bit quiet now, hopefully. Hopefully you can actually still hear the music. Okay, good. Yes, so I'm gonna make these mushroom meatballs. So they are vegan, they're gluten free, they are really tasty. If I can work out how to show you this, I can show you a picture of how it should look when it's finished. Yeah. So it's one of the recipes from my blog, and this is how it should look when they're done. There's a sneak peek of them before they're done in the pan. Yep. So that's what we're aiming for today. So hopefully that's where we'll end up, and I'll have something nice for my dinner. So I've printed out my recipe just because it's been quite a long time since I've made it. So I thought I'll print it out so I don't go horribly wrong and end up making a bit of a mess of it. So I'll probably just start with the looks yum. I'm not gonna lie, it's a secret to me. I do like spaghetti meatballs, but we've kind of stopped eating so much meat. It's quite a nice alternative, but it's still got a similar consistency to meatballs. You don't really feel like you're missing out. So to begin with, we're going to need a load of mushrooms all sliced up. So I'm going to go and grab them. I got two different kinds of mushrooms just because I was feeling a bit fancy when I was at the shop. So I've got some chestnut mushrooms and some closed cup mushrooms. So just some white and some brown, basically. And for this we need 300 grams. So I've got 500 grams in total because that's obviously going to be too much. Yep. That's obviously going to be a bit too much. So I'm going to use 200 grams of chestnuts and then 100 grams of the white ones. Give me a wee second, I'm just going to go and double check something here. having a few technical issues. Hopefully this will be the only time because it is new stuff. So once we get it all organised, we should be okay. But hopefully you'll be able to hear me a bit better now and still be able to hear the music. That is the hope. Yeah. So while we're waiting to check that that's all okay now, I am going to start chopping the mushrooms. So like I said, I've got 500 grams. I only need 300 grams. So I'm probably going to use all of the chestnut mushrooms and 100 grams of the white ones. And then it means that I've got 200 grams of them left for something else. Oh, the music's quiet now, right? Hold on. So we like a wee bit of music while we're cooking. Is that a bit better? So that's a bit better. Yeah, just trying to get it all together. Sounds as though that should be okay. Hoping so that you can hear a bit of the music because it is quite nice to have a bit of music in the background. Oh, there we go. I think we should be good now. So I'll keep going, and then if anything goes horribly wrong, you can just yell and I'll fix it. So I'm gonna start with, just grab the bowl to pop my chopped mushrooms in. So I'm just gonna start with the chestnut ones. It's funny, I never used to like mushrooms. I always thought the texture was really strange. And I just didn't like the taste. But I think that was probably because most of the time, if I was to get mushrooms, they would be in mushroom soup, and I always kind of felt like mushroom soup. It just seems a bit like kind of wet stones. It never ever appealed to me. So it wasn't something that I ever enjoyed eating. And we never really had mushrooms other than that I can remember. But then that might just have been because I insisted that I didn't like them because of this mushroom stony soup. I think it was in school we used to get that. It was not pleasant. But I eat mushrooms all the time now. I'm still not a huge fan of the wild mushrooms, and I don't know what they're called, but the long thin ones with a little kind of knobbly bit on top. I'm not a big fan of them either. But these kind of mushrooms, just the regular mushrooms, that's the ones I like. Oh, hello and welcome. Rachel, how are you today? Nice to see you again. So yeah, I'm not sure. Some people say that you should wash mushrooms, and then some places say that you should just kind of give them a wipe, and that's always what we've done. So I'm just gonna give them a wipe, get rid of any dirt, any kind of rubbish that's on. Oh, audio needs setting. Can you not hear me that well? Try turning the music down a wee bit again to see if that helps at all. It's always a learning process, isn't it? As soon as you get something new, it's not until you actually try it out that you realise that there's some other bits that obviously need fixing. Yeah, it's a new microphone, so I'm all plugged in, but I think possibly I've maybe got some of the settings. So if you give me 2 minutes, I'm just going to have a quick look and see if I can do something with it. I will be right back. Right, third time lucky. I've changed it all again. We've updated the setting. I'm going to do it. So, right. Let me know if this is better, and if not, we'll go back to the old mic and I'll figure this out later on. Hopefully it's better now, but it's so difficult to tell when I can't hear anything. Are we third time lucky? Very fast. Still not better. Right. Let's try to go back. Okay, is that better now? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me better? Can you hear the music? Yes, that's better. Right, give me a wee second. I'm going to get rid of this microphone and we can just go from here. Right, I'm back. Okay, so I'll work on that tonight. You got all this nice new equipment and you think, oh, that'll make things so much easier, it'll make things so much better, and then it doesn't work, which isn't ideal, but we know now, so we'll have a play with that later on. But hopefully this'll keep up for us okay today. Right, so I'm gonna get back to it. And thank you for all your help in the chat. That's very helpful. So how are you today, Vishal? Sorry if I'm murdering the pronunciation of your name. Just going to chop up. Yes, if you've missed it, with all the technical issues that we've been having, today I'm going to be making meat-free mushroom meatballs. So they are vegan and gluten-free and really, really tasty. I'm saying it correctly, that's good. And I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I'm glad to see you back again. Oh, and thank you very much for the follow. That's much appreciated. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is one that I've only made, I think we've only had it once. I just quite fancied, I'm a big fan of spaghetti and meatballs. So because we've kind of we're not eating nearly as much meat now. I've been trying to come up with some ideas of some different things to have, and one thing that I do enjoy is spaghetti and meatballs, so I kind of look to see what you can use to substitute the meat for. And one big thing seemed to be the mushrooms, I think because they have a kind of, not a meaty taste, but they've got a kind of a similar kind of taste in that kind of direction. And I use just some oats in the mixture, and that helps to kind of bind it all together. And they did work out really tastily, so I'm hoping that they'll be just as good again today. At least if our microphone's not working, then at least the recipe can work, hopefully. And that's the main thing, as long as I've got a nice dinner at the end of it. Yep. Yeah, no, that's it. I think for meatballs, especially now, you don't actually have to use meat. There are so many different alternatives that you can use. Like, for example, these mushrooms, they've got no meat or anything in them, they're completely vegan. Or you could use, I think you can actually buy quite a lot of different kinds of like vegetarian meatballs. We've had ones before and they were, was it tomato and basil, I think it was? And they were actually really tasty. I think they were maybe, were they soya, I think? And we've also had, I've made them out of corn before. Corn's not too bad. I find the texture's a wee bit kind of, almost a bit powdery. So I find that these ones work really well because they keep their shape quite well. And then if you like mushrooms, they're quite mushroomy tasting, so that's always good. Right, so I need a third of that pack, so that should be enough. And this recipe makes, yeah, about 2 portions, but 2 quite good sized portions. So 2 dinner portions. Well, have you not had mushrooms at all? Well, see, it was a long time before I was convinced to like mushrooms. I always kind of thought of them as quite slimy and strange tasting, but you should try them. I would definitely recommend them. Maybe put them in like to begin with, if you put them in like a pasta sauce or something, maybe, just to try them to see if you like them, because obviously this recipe is quite mushroom heavy. Like if you make this and then decide you don't like mushrooms, that's a bit of a shame. But if you maybe just chop some up and put them in like a pasta sauce or something, just to try them to begin with, that should be enough for you to kind of check if you like them or not, and then you could go on to make something like this. Or you've cooked them, so you've cooked them for other people but not eaten them yourself. Well, see, that's it. If I cook stuff, I have to try it. I don't think I've ever been able to cook something and not try it immediately. So I'm just chopping these up into sort of slices because I'm going to fry them with a few other bits and pieces just to cook them down to get a bit of a kind of mixture together. Of course, when you're in culinary school, yeah, that would make sense. And I think mushrooms are used for quite a lot of different things. They seem to be, I think especially now that a lot of people are cutting down on meat and trying to use more veg, they are becoming a lot more popular. And that's it, they are so versatile. So if you haven't tried them, I would definitely recommend that you give them a go. I can understand if you don't like them because it was a long time before I liked them. As I was saying, I don't know if you heard when I started, the first thing that I was given with mushrooms in was mushroom soup, and it was horrible. I think I was given it at school, and it almost looked like someone had got a pile of stones, like little rocks, put them in a food processor with some water and blitzed it all up, so it was just little bits of stones in water. It was horrible. So that put me off them for a long time. But I've now realised that that's not actually what they taste like. We just must have had a very bad cook at school. And just very unfortunate. Yeah, I'm going to pop these back in the fridge and I'll use these another day. I need for this? Onion and garlic. So I'll get 1 onion. And 1 clove of garlic. So what would you say was your favourite thing that you learned to cook in culinary school, Vishal? Did you have a sort of a favourite or a favourite kind of cuisine maybe? I always really like hearing about different people's, what their favourite food is and or their favourite meal. I think everyone's so different. That garlic smells amazing. See, I have to watch with garlic. It's one of these things, it can be quite triggering for people with IBS. So a lot of people I know that they can't have a lot of it. I'm not too bad, and I love the taste of it so much that sometimes I maybe go overboard when I shouldn't. But if I don't have too much of it, then I'm normally okay. Get my little garlic press, and then I'm just going to chop up my onion quite finely. Ready to go in the food processor with the rest of it. I actually went out into the garden today and I've been trying to grow vegetables. I did it last year and I was quite successful. I managed to get a few different bits and pieces. I had some courgettes, quite a lot of lettuce, I had some herbs, I had almost like a cornfield in the garden, although not much came of any of the, what are they called, cobs. Not much came of any of them, but it still looked quite impressive when you went out into the garden. So this year I've been, I don't know whether it's been corona or what it is, but I've been very unlucky in the garden. But I went out today and I managed to pick some onions. I'll show you them actually. So they've already been all wiped off and cleaned because they were a bit of a mess. But look, wait, and I'll put this off to the wee camera and show you. I'm so pleased with myself. Look at them. How cute are they? I mean, they are supposed to be a lot bigger than that. But they're edible. And it's something that I managed to grow myself, so I'll take it. So I've got a list of different things that I want to make, or grow rather, next year. I don't know whether I was a wee bit late this year in putting stuff out, or I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was very disappointing. But we'll try again next year. Might be a bit more successful. So I'm just chopping the onion up fairly roughly. And then that's going to go in our pan. And I'm lucky I've got my contact lenses still in, so hopefully there will be no tears. Unless I chop my finger, that would do it as well. Quite enjoying this music today actually. Right, oh that's a strong onion. Oh, I can feel it. Right, so I've got my onions prepared, my mushrooms prepared, my garlic's ready, and now I just want to fry it. No, I'm not going to jinx it, I'm going to be very careful with my knives, don't worry. So just going to fry these off in a little bit of oil until they start to cook off. grab my pan. I don't know if you can see, I managed to get myself here a double hob. Because I found that I was limiting myself so much in what I could actually cook because I only had one hob. So I now have two. So I'm good to go. Although, saying that, for this recipe I've got 3 pots. But it'll be fine, we'll do one after the other. It'll be okay. I've got time. So I want just a little drizzle of the oil in the bottom of the pan. Maybe about a tablespoon, something like that. Oh, I'm so thirsty today. I'm not sure what's happened, but it was horrible this morning. The sun came out for about 5 minutes at lunchtime. I had been in a jumper all day, and then now it's roasting again. So I'm not complaining because it is nice, but I just wish the weather would make up its mind. Right, I'm going to stick my pan on. I've chosen the hot one, but I'm going to put it down quite low and see how we go with that. Chills, thrills, hello and welcome. Thanks for watching. How are you today on this lovely Wednesday? The weather here, it's bizarre. So I'm in Scotland and we've had a rubbish summer. So the sun is out at the moment, but it's only been out for maybe half an hour. It was cold and grey and rainy this morning, but now it's really warm, so not complaining, but it would be nice if we could get like a proper nice day of weather and not just an hour or two. How's the weather where you are? Yeah, I'm going to pop, so that's heating up now. I'm going to pop my onion in, try not to splash myself. Oh, I missed a bit. I'm going to pop all this in here. I feel like everywhere in the world has nice hot weather apart from here. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's definitely how it feels. Is it hot where you are? And how hot is it? Although I'm not sure I actually want to know because I'm just going to be really jealous. Like the sunshine too. Yeah, that's kind of where I struggle. Obviously with being so pale skin and with red hair, I struggle with the heat. I'm not built for it. I do like a nice sunny day, but I need to get my sun cream on, get in the shade, but I can enjoy it from there. So it is nice to have a bit of sunshine every so often. So just frying these off. I just want them to go a little bit browner and soften up, and then I'll add the garlic. And you don't want to add the garlic too early because you can burn the garlic quite quickly and then it'll taste quite bitter. So you'll want to just, once this is almost sauteed off, we'll put the garlic in and then add the mushrooms and mix it all together. Yes, it's been hot here, it's been uncomfortable. Oh, for about a week. Oh, see, that's, no. There's definitely a balance. You want it somewhere, I would say for me, obviously we're in degrees Celsius, but I would say maybe between 20 and 25 is quite a good temperature for me. Any hotter and I just can't function. I can't do anything. My brain doesn't work. It's just too hot, especially not for a week. That's quite a long time. And have you been working through it, or have you been able to enjoy it, or just keep out of it if it's been too hot? So these are looking quite nice, they smell lovely. And I've done it on a fairly low heat just because I don't want to burn them. I do want them to stay that kind of glassy, I think they say it. They just going a wee bit see-through, not burnt, because I think with that, if you burn the onions, pretty much everything that you add to it then is just going to taste the burnt onions, but we want these to taste of the mushrooms, so just a gentle heat. Plus, I'm not in any rush today, I've got time. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, that's it, that's with all our technical issues at the beginning. Time is flying, so I maybe should get a move on. But it's looking good, so I think I'm going to add my garlic now. Yeah, that's it. If you could have a cooler day but with the sunshine always makes such a difference. And I don't know about you, but it just makes my mood much better immediately. Get the nice weather. Oh, well that's not too bad then, but yeah, that's the worst part, when if it's really hot at night and you can't sleep, and then you get up in the morning and it's still really hot and you're tired and it's too hot, and no, I fully understand. We've not dealt with that for quite a long time, but I do know where you come from, and I hope for your sake that it will start to cool down a wee bit for you. That's alright, we've got time, we're not in any rush here. Right, so this is how we want it to look. So you can just see, hopefully through the steam, that they're just starting to soften up a wee bit. The garlic's getting a bit of colour, and then I'm going to add my mushrooms. So again, I've chopped up 300 grams of mushrooms. I've got, I think it was 200 grams of the chestnut, the brown mushrooms, and 100 grams of the white mushrooms. Yeah, I think it was that way around. So I'm just going to add all of these and hope that my pan is big enough. Okay. And I'll keep the bowl because I'll probably need that when this is all done. And then I get a rogue mushroom. So then we just want these to soften up a wee bit, cook through, and then we're going to fire them in the food processor to get it nice and like the right texture, and then we can roll it into little balls and put it in the fridge. I like the sunshine so much that I feel like I'm more than other people. Yeah, usually people say they like the winter more. Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's one thing that we notice in Scotland, is that in summer the days are so long. So I mean, it can be sunny or daytime here from probably about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning until maybe 11 at night. So that's really nice because you do get a nice long day. But I know what you mean about winter as well, because I do like to get cozy and like sit with a blanket and a cup of tea. But I'm not sure I could pick one. I don't know whether I could say what season I prefer. I think because here we get so little sort of actual summer that I'm really grateful when it comes. And then I get too hot too quickly, and I think, oh, I could go with it being a bit cooler again. That's it, never happy. Never ever happy. It's cloudy and rainy rather than most of the year. Yeah, exactly, that's it. You do appreciate then the hot weather when it comes. Oh, this is getting quite loud. I'll turn it down a wee bit. Yeah, that's it. We'll always find something about the weather to complain about, but I mean, that's it. I think today for us would be a nice day, but it's only going to be like this for maybe an hour, and that's it. You go from, we always say that living in Scotland, you have to kind of, you have to take with you an umbrella and some sun cream and a jacket, all of these things just in case, because you never know what's going to happen with the weather. The oil. So I just used oh, there's no lid on it, there's no thingy on it, but that's sunflower oil. So you can use any kind of oil. You could use sunflower oil, you could use a wee bit of olive oil, you could use, if you didn't want to add the garlic, you could use garlic infused oil, which is quite nice. If you find, some people find that garlic can kind of upset their tummy a bit, so the garlic infused oil works well for that. I've now put it down too low. Right. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, we could literally have 4 seasons in one day. And if you check the weather forecast, you can never ever trust it here, ever. Because it could start off like that. So say it'll be raining in the morning, it could be 30 degrees in the evening, and then snowing in the middle. It's mad, but you have to be prepared for any kind of weather, just in case. I mean, there's been days where I've gone out in shorts because it's been a nice morning, and then you'll get absolutely soaked and freezing by the time you come home at night. It's mad. It really is mad. And I think you kind of get used to it, because I'm from Scotland, so I think you do get used to it. And it doesn't seem that bizarre until you really think about it and think this isn't normal. I love garlic, yeah. You haven't heard. See, that's quite a big thing. If people suffer with IBS or have sort of stomach problems, garlic's quite a big one, because it's tricky for people with IBS and things like that for them to digest it properly. So it's the same with onions. They're very similar like that, the garlic and onions. Quite a lot of people can't eat garlic and onions, which a lot of people don't realise, because they're such kind of simple ingredients and so tasty that you wouldn't think of that, but a lot of people can't eat them. So they say that to use the garlic infused oil is really good, because you're not actually eating the garlic, you're just getting the taste of it. So you're not having to miss out on the tastiness of the garlic, but you're still not going to make your stomach really upset. I think the phone spring is somewhere for it. Yeah, definitely. We find that more in spring and autumn as well. But I think it's definitely a year-round thing. But one thing I think's not too bad about here is that we don't get a lot of snow, so we don't really get a lot of extreme weather. So we kind of sit in the middle somewhere, and then it's never extremely hot and it's never extremely cold, because I'm not a big fan of the snow. So for me, that's okay. I've worn shorts too, cause it's so, yeah, that's it. So you just get used to it and you think, well, I'm in shorts now, I'll just deal with it, it'll be fine. Do you know how to change username here? I have absolutely no idea. I've not been on Twitch for all that long, so I would assume there's somewhere in your settings, but I would be lying. I would have to just sit and try and kind of figure it out. Right, so these are looking amazing and smelling amazing. Don't get much snow here either. Yeah, it is quite nice when it's rare, but it kind of stops everything, and nothing really can like function properly, I find. Just install Discord. I've been hearing about Discord. It's something I need to properly look at. I think I have one now. I think I started one, but it was about half an hour before I came on, so I've not had a chance to properly look at it. So that's my job for this evening, and I think I can put recipes and stuff up there for people to look at. So maybe if you come back, I'm going to do another stream on Friday, and if you come back again on Friday, I might know how it works, and I can help you with it. Looks delicious, right? Can you see it? I'm going to put I'll take this camera over. So that's what it all looks like now. So we're getting a nice colour to it. And I think that'll do for the moment. It's all starting to go a bit softer. change that back over again. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, Vishal, yeah, I mean, a couple of people have mentioned Discord to me. It sounds like it's a pretty cool thing. I think it'll be good, especially for the cooking, if I can post recipes and stuff on. So, like, if I make something today, I can put the recipe up there and you can have a wee look at it and maybe try it for yourself. But at the moment, I have no idea how it works. So, possibly if, hold on, I think it's off now. So if, yeah, once I figure that out, I can maybe give you a wee shout and let you know then. No stopping things from function isn't good. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. Although we're quite bad, as soon as we've got even a little bit of snow, the trains stop, cars can't get anywhere. I think it's sometimes a bit of an excuse as well, so that we can say, oh well, it's snowing, so we need a day off work and we need a day off school, and because we couldn't possibly get anywhere, it's far too dangerous in the snow. Which is ridiculous, but I think that's it. I think we do use it as a bit of an excuse. Right, so I'm just going to pop these in a bowl. Grievous Mink, hello and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Like how you post them out, thank you. I do think it's quite handy because I find that sometimes it tends to be food, like cooking streams that I watch, and I think it's quite handy if you jump in sort of in the middle, then you can see what it is they're making and you're not like, oh, I'm kind of lost, I've got no idea what's going on. Get rid of that. Yeah. Right, so they look really, really nice, and I think that makes quite a difference. I'm putting that on, I've not even got the thing up. There we go. So you can see all that there. And I think using the chestnut mushrooms makes quite a big difference. It just makes it look nicer. Right, so I'm going to pop that. It's helpful to see your recipe, yep. So that's what I quite like to do. I've got that on the side so you can see, oh, that worked quite well, I'm just pointing right at it. So you can see what it is I'm making, and then once I figure out the Discord thing, I should hopefully be able to put it on there, and then you can click on it, and if you want to copy it yourself then you can. Next one's vegan and gluten free too, yeah. So I am fully vegan, not vegan, gluten free. I have been now for, what year was that? I think 4 years I've now been completely gluten free, because I actually suffer with IBS myself, and I find that gluten is one of my main problem foods. I'm not vegan. What would you call it? I think the word is flexitarian. There's so many different words, but I mean basically I still eat a little bit of meat, a little bit of fish. I am trying to cut down as much as I can. The one place I'm struggling is dairy. I really like my dairy food. I mean, I've started swapping out the yogurts and cream and what else? I've tried so many vegan cheeses. I'm a big fan of cheese, and I cannot find a vegan cheese that I enjoy, and I think that's where I'm kind of struggling. So if anyone has any tips on good vegan cheese, please let me know. Are any of you guys in the comment, are you in the chat, any of you vegan? Have any vegan cheese suggestions? Oh, thank you very much for your follow, Grievous Mink, much appreciated. Oh, I need some more water, it's so warm in here today. But I think it is always quite good as well, if you're making recipes, I kind of try and make it either fully vegetarian or as vegan as possible. So if there are things I need to substitute, I'll try and find something that's vegan to put in instead of using like the dairy counterpart or whatever. And normally it works quite well, but it's just that it's the vegan cheese that I just kind of get stuck on. But I'm sure the thing is, there are so many new products coming out all the time that I'm sure eventually there will be some really nice vegan cheeses. I've just not found them yet. It's wonderful. Thank you very much. Are you vegan, Chills Thrills? I think it's quite interesting to hear from different people, because it's definitely something I'm kind of aiming for. but I think it's tricky, especially with me being gluten free. I find that the hardest part for me is if I were to go out for dinner somewhere, there's very rarely a choice that's gluten free and vegan. And then I also can't eat chickpeas because that's one of my other problem foods, and a lot of vegan things are made with chickpeas. So a lot of the time if I went out for dinner, my options are quite limited as it is, and it will only be maybe a meat dish or a fish dish. So that's kind of my main issue, and that's really the only time I eat meat at the moment, meat or fish. In the house it's all vegetarian at least, and then obviously we try and substitute in our dairy free choices. Not vegan, meat and potatoes guy here. Yeah, see, that's it. No, I totally understand that, and I think that's it. I think it's everybody has to see what works for them, and even if you're able to sort of cut down your meat intake a little bit, it's still, you're still kind of doing something. But I'm all about the potatoes. I could eat potatoes. I think if I had to give up all other foods, I could just eat potatoes and be quite happy. I'm vegan now, but it took me a while. Ah, right, okay, yeah. Yeah, see, I think that's fair enough, because that's it, you're doing as much as you can, and honey and eggs, it's definitely, you've given up a lot of other things, and I do love eggs. I can't stand honey, but that's just my own thing, but I can't stand it. But I do love eggs, poached eggs, scrambled eggs, I'm a big fan, so I fully support your decision there. Hodgerific. Hi there, how are you today? Nice to see you again. How did your tart turn out the other day? It was delicious. I think I possibly could have, when I made the leeks, I probably could have drained out a little bit of the water because it seemed quite kind of wet. So when I put it in the base, it made the base a little bit soggy, which was slightly disappointing, but it still tasted really nice. And then we had another chunk of it yesterday for lunch, and I just put it in the oven and reheated it, and that helped like crisp it back up again. So it was actually nicer yesterday than it was the day before, and we've still got one little chunk in there, so I think that'll be my lunch tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. I think it's if you're doing what you can, then that's it. And it's tricky, especially with people with dietary requirements, that it is so much harder if there's already so many different things that you can't eat, to then say, right, out of choice, I'm not going to eat all of these other things as well. You are limiting yourself so much, and you need to make sure you're getting all your nutrients and your vitamins and stuff. So I think that's it. I think it's quite an individual thing, but as long as you're doing what you can, then that's all you can do. You don't like honey? No, I can't. That was one thing. With honey, the problem with honey is I used to get a cold all the time when I was little, and my mum used to give me, it would just be a cup of hot water with some honey in it and a squeeze of lemon. And I know that it's supposed to be really good for you and it's supposed to help colds, but I just cannot stand the taste of it. And anytime I think about it, that's what I think of. So, and it's one thing that people say, oh, you should try it again. If you've not had it for ages, you should try it again. But I can't. I've got a complete mental block with it. So I'm fine with other people eating it. It doesn't bother me at all, but it's not something that I can eat. How to find more vegan dairy products? Yeah, that's it. I think the dairy free, it's tricky, but most other things, I mean, I know that one thing is the oat milk, which is supposed to be really nice, but again, I can't have that because it's not gluten free. We use different cream. I've got a dairy free cream that we use. Dairy free yogurt, I really like the Alpro yogurts. If you've seen those, I actually prefer them to regular yogurt. But yeah, it's the cheese. So if anybody ever finds a vegan cheese, maybe if that's how Discord works, I'm not quite sure, we can all have a wee conversation about vegan cheese, and if anybody finds any, let me know. I've enjoyed pea milk. I think I might have tried pea milk because it's quite creamy, if I remember rightly, and it tastes a tiny bit peas but not too much, I think. I'm sure it was pea milk I tried. I quite enjoy one that I've tried, I've not seen it for a long time, but I think it is vegan, was rice milk. which I thought was quite nice, and it seemed quite similar. The texture was quite similar to regular milk. Is almond milk vegan? Yes, yeah. Yeah, almond milk is vegan. But I suppose if you're making, because I think almond milk and coconut milk are quite sweet. I don't know if that's just, I'm automatically assuming that they will be, so that's what it, like, that's what I'm thinking of when I taste it. But maybe if you were doing, like I make a macaroni cheese with milk, so maybe if you used a pea milk instead of regular milk, that might work if it's a kind of savoury thing rather. I maybe need to try that. I'm not sure how easy it is to get pea milk though. I think I've only ever seen it once, and it was at like a special fair thing. So I need to keep a wee eye out and try it again. Cashew coconut milk. Oh, that sounds interesting. I've not seen that before. I'll need to maybe try that, because that sounds really nice. I'm a big fan of cashews. I could do a lot with cashews. I make like a kind of cheese sauce type thing with cashews. Again, it's vegan, so it's cashews and nutritional yeast, and it's really nice like that. Some better. Oh, she's skim, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mac and cheese, you want the fat. Ah, yeah, that's a good point actually. You want the fat from the cheese. That might be a good idea actually. I might need to have a wee experiment with that, because I do love macaroni cheese. Obviously I would need to find a vegan cheese, because it would probably defeat the point a wee bit if I use a vegan cream and then load it up with dairy cheese. But pea milk is in my regular grocery store. Ah, I've never ever noticed it before. I don't think it's in any of our regular grocery stores, but I'll need to have a look. Another one that's really nice is hazelnut milk, for if you have like cereal or a coffee. Hazelnut milk is lovely. Right, I'm gonna keep cooking because I get slightly distracted. Right, I'm gonna get so I've got some oats. So these are gluten-free oats, which I use quite a lot normally just for porridge. So I'm gonna add them to my mushroom mixture and blitz them all up, and that's what will hold the mushrooms together when I'm making the meatballs. Mac and cheese, or melting down vegan cheese. Ah, I use my oil or fat for the cheese instead of using vegan milk. Yeah, that could work as well actually. That would be an interesting one to try, because I'm not sure I've ever seen a vegan cheese, vegan mac and cheese. The only one I've seen is there's a ready meal that we can buy in one of our supermarkets, and it's not vegan, I don't think, but it's gluten-free and milk-free, so maybe it is vegan. But it's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. It seems like quite a good option, like if you are vegan or gluten free or whatever, it's quite handy if you can get these ready meals that you can just buy, fire in the microwave, and you've got a nice hot dinner. But it's so bad. I don't know why it's still in the shops, because I've never seen anyone buy it and enjoy it, because it's just, and I think they use a coconut cheese for it, but it's just, oh, it's horrible. So yeah, I think there's definitely some work that can be done trying to kind of come up with vegan things, but I think that's part of the fun, is a bit of experimentation, and that's what you kind of want to be doing in the kitchen, as long as you're not too hungry and not desperate for your dinner. If you've got time, you can do a wee bit of experiment, which is what I quite enjoy about cooking. Right, so what do I need here? So I'm going to get my food processor. Just going to use this guy here. I'm hoping this won't be too loud. And cheese sauce type thing mixed
Ooh. Yeah, see, I make a kind of cheese sauce, but I use cashews and nutritional yeast and some water just, I think. There's a few other bits and pieces. Mix it with more oil. I quite like using tahini we would use it for like maybe a sauce for tofu or vegetables or something, but I'd never thought to make it cheesy. I'll need to try that. That sounds really nice, because I do like tahini. The food service order sometimes does vegan mac. If I could order macaroni cheese to my house, I don't think I would never ever leave again. Like, that's all I would ever eat. Have you tried it? What do you reckon? Is it quite nice? It sounds lovely. It's wonderful chatting with you too, Chills Thrills. Right, I'm going to put all of this stuff in the food processor. Otherwise, I'm not going to be eating tonight. I'm going to stand and chatting so long. So we don't want this to be like you don't want it too blitzed, because you do want a little bit of texture. And we'll see how, so I'm thinking, this is quite a strong food processor, so I'm thinking maybe a few seconds or so. Tron, hi Tron, nice to see you again, thanks for coming back. How are you today? Please cook and eat, yeah. No, that's it. I'll go hungry because I've been chatting to you a little. Do you make recipes other than vegan, vegetarian? Yes, I do. I try and make, what I'm kind of all about is I want everybody to be able to enjoy food. So whether or not you have dietary requirements, or you are vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian, I think that everybody should be able to have something nice to eat. So my whole kind of thing, I do a food blog, so my whole kind of thing is that's it, everybody should be able to enjoy food. So it's not a vegan food blog, it is all gluten free purely because I can't eat anything other than that, but I do always sort of suggest if you're not gluten free you can substitute for something else. So that's it, you just want, I think I'm such a big food lover that I'd be really upset if other people sort of thought that they couldn't enjoy food, or that they were restricted too much that they didn't enjoy food. So yeah, so I just try and make sure that everybody's got something, like some kind of recipe or something they can use, or if there's certain things they don't like, that I'll come up with things to substitute. So, and I do enjoy experimenting in the kitchen, it's good fun. It's good. I was surprised I'm far from vegan, but try to lessen my meat consumption. Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I think it's, even just to have, say, a couple of days where you don't eat as much meat as you normally would, every little helps. And everybody's situation is slightly different, so we all do what we can. Next question, how are you? I am good today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself. As you can probably see, I've got braces. So I was at the orthodontist this morning for the first time since February, because they were closed obviously because of Corona. So this was the first appointment I could get back. So I went in and I got them all fixed up. So I'm a bit sore, but I'm probably talking so much isn't helping, but it's fine, I'll get over it. So I'm a wee bit sore, but I'm okay. And I'm getting hungry now that I can smell the mushrooms. But the sun's out, it's quite a nice afternoon, so it's all good here. All good here, and I'm going to have something nice for my dinner, so. Right, so I've put my mushrooms and onions and stuff in the food processor, and then I want a tablespoon of these oats. And we'll just add that in. Doesn't seem like a lot, I'm going to put a little bit more in. Yeah, that's it. Everybody should enjoy food. It's such a nice thing, and I think it brings a lot of people together, and I'm fairly food obsessed. It's quite bad, but it is such a good thing. I'm sorry, thanks for chatting with me. You're very welcome. Thanks for chatting with me. Yeah, I'll eat soon, it's fine. And the good thing about these is, because they're kind of meatballs, they're quite soft, so I should be absolutely fine. And I need to watch what I'm eating for the next day or two, but these should be okay. Tightening of the braces, yeah, I don't miss it, I know. I wish I'd done it when I was younger, but it got to the stage where I thought, no, it's now or never. So I've had them on for, what's that, just over a year and a bit. So I'm not too far away now, but I think it was just that waiting for Corona to be over so that I could go back and keep it going again and not be thinking, right, what's going on? So we're getting there, not too far away now. Okay. Get a cat that's getting hungry. Right. Okay. The sliced mushrooms, mixed herbs, so we want some herbs in here as well, just for the flavour. So I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of mixed herbs in there, and some salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to whisk this for, the only problem with this machine is you can't see inside it. Oh, what's the black? This one here, that's my hob. So that's where I can cook all my food. I did have, up until yesterday, I just had one. But the problem is, when I cook, quite often I'll have multiple pans on the go. So it's quite difficult if you've only got one hob, that you're kind of doing one thing, taking it off, doing the next one, taking it off, and then having to put them back on to heat them back up again before you eat. So this one's working out quite well for me so far. Yeah, so the problem with this is I can't actually see inside it, so I'm not quite sure of the texture. So I'm just going to hope for the best and put it on for a few seconds and just keep checking it. Wait, did I hear cat? Yes, you did. There's a cat just down there waiting for her dinner, getting very impatient and scratching at everything she can find. She got a second one, yeah. So I've got, I don't know if you can, no, it's kind of hidden away. So that's my individual one, and then I've got the two. So it's a good setup. I've never seen one before. Yeah, it's quite handy because I don't know if you can see back there, that's where my hob is. So it's kind of difficult to put a camera, and I do a few different sort of live cook-alongs and things. So I've done a few on Facebook and YouTube and things, and I just find that standing here is much nicer, and then I can get the sun in and the lighting's better. So, and I've got more space and I'm not quite as kind of crowded as I would be up the back, so it's works quite well. What is the name of said cat? That name is Isla, which is quite a Scottish name, I think. She's now in eating the rest of her food, but yeah, Isla. So we've got two cats, Isla and Murphy. Murphy's outside somewhere. He doesn't come in until it's dinner time, and then he eats and then he disappears again. So I'm going to put this on just for a second. I'm hoping it won't get too loud. I'm just going to put it on for a few seconds and then we'll see how it looks. There, but there's a few big chunks of mushrooms left, so I want to get rid of them. So I'll show you this just now. Yeah, it works quite well, this, I think. Sounds spacey. Yeah, it is. It's a bit like a spaceship. You're just waiting for it to take off. Oh, enjoy your breakfast, Hoderific. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Right, so I'll show you, pop this on. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. So it doesn't look overly appetizing at this time. But I'm just going to stick it on for another few seconds so that there's a couple of chunks of mushrooms left, so I'm going to get rid of them. Yeah, that looks good now. Oh, that was quite loud. Right, so this is what it looks like now. So that's the kind of consistency that you want. Can you see that enough? So it's all kind of a bit lumpy, I suppose, a bit like kind of the meat you would use for meatballs. I'm just going to check the consistency, because what we want to do is we want now to be able to roll it into a ball. So I think that's going to work quite well, so that's fine. Good. Scotland or UK? Technically both. So I'm from Scotland, which is in the UK, so yeah, so that's where that accent comes from. I'm going to get a little tray. And just line it. So I'm now going to shape these into little meatballs, and then we want to pop them in the oven for, not the oven, sorry, the fridge, for probably about 15 minutes, just to let them cool. So this is a messy part. A lot of people say that they love Braveheart. The only problem is though that the accent, his Scottish accent, and that is terrible. But it is a good movie, so I'll let you off. Yes, so I'm going to put them in the fridge to cool, and that'll help them sort of keep their shape a little bit, because at the moment they're still quite soft. Hold on, I can show you what they'll look like. So that's it, kind of rolled into a ball. So it rolls into a ball quite nicely, and it is fairly stable. It shouldn't fall apart, and that's the mushrooms and the oats that are doing that. So I think that's about a good size. That looks like a kind of meatball size. So I'm just going to do that with the rest of it and pop them on this little tray, and then they'll go in the fridge to cool. So I'm not quite sure how many I'm going to get from this. 2, maybe about 8. Try and get them as similar in size as possible, but that's unlikely. And just watch my hands, there's a big knife at the bottom of this, I just need to watch what I'm doing. So whereabouts are you guys from? Whereabouts in the US are you from, Grievous Mink? And what time is it there? Is it breakfast time there? Yeah, I will, I'll be careful. Oh, this smells amazing. Quite strong mushroom smell, but they are really, really good. So, well, I think we're going to get quite a lot actually. It doesn't look like a lot of mix, but when you start rolling it up, there's actually quite a lot in there. It's quite a strange texture though. It's a bit strange kind of rolling them up. 9 AM. Yeah. So this is a bit of a strange breakfast for you, but gives you time to then go out and get the ingredients and then come home and you can make that for your dinner. That's always a thing I find quite interesting about Twitch. There's so many people from so many different places that I'm the same. I sit and watch people make stuff for breakfast and it's dinner time here, and it's a bit strange, but I'm here for the chat, so. The Midwest is 11:15. So almost lunchtime. So it's a slightly more normal lunchtime meal then, maybe. So I'm getting to the bottom of this. I think we'll maybe get another couple. So what did I say, 8? So I wasn't too far away. It's good, all food, yes, definitely. That's it, there's not really a time for food. You can eat whatever you like, whenever you like. I do apologise, Grievous Mink. I am sorry. I hope you get something nice for breakfast. Yeah, this is a tricky bit, trying to get it all from the bottom. Breakfast food works all the time. That's true. And I would say I'm definitely a savoury breakfast person. I know a lot of people like pancakes and waffles and stuff, but that is not for me. I'd rather have like eggs and bacon and what else? Even savoury porridge. Maybe scrambled eggs, poached eggs. I'd much rather have that than pancakes or waffles. I'm not a big sweet lover. I do much prefer my savoury food. Oh, hash brown. I love hash browns. And the one thing about hash browns is, so if I ever go to McDonald's, obviously with gluten free there's very little I can have, but the hash browns are one of the few things that are actually gluten free. So if I can, I try and go for breakfast, and then I can make like a breakfast burger with like the egg, and then I put hash browns instead of the bun. So good. Is there any Scottish potato recipes? One thing I really like to do with potatoes is, I don't know if you have, I think it is a Scottish thing, potato scones they're called. So they are, so it's basically you get mashed potato. So if you've ever got leftover mash, you mix it up with a little bit of flour, and then, so once it's cold, mix it up with a little bit of flour, and then roll it out, so it's maybe about 1 centimetre or 2 thick, and then you want to sort of cut it into triangles and fry it. Oh, that's really good. And then if you put that on you can put that on like a roll with egg or bacon or sausage, or with the hash brown egg sandwich. Oh, so you could have a hash brown, an egg and a potato scone in a sandwich, and that would be amazing. So yeah, you should look up potato scones, because they are really, really good and really, really easy to make, and a good thing if you've got leftover mash. I know, I just love potatoes. I could eat potatoes with everything. Right, so I've managed to make 9 little meatballs and 1 little baby one, just because that was what I could scrape out from the bottom of the bowl. So they look pretty good. I would say they all look fairly similar in size. So I'm going to stick these in the fridge now to cool, just as they are. I'll probably put them in maybe 15-20 minutes, just however long it takes me to make the tomato sauce. Just trying to find some space in the fridge. I don't know if it's just me, but my fridge is always such a mess. It's always full of stuff, and then you've got something in that you need to let cool. There's no way that's going to fit in there anywhere. Wait till potato scone. Yes. Tatty scone. That's what it's called in Scottish. It's like a potato pancake. Yeah, that's a very good way of looking at it actually. I think you get them in Ireland as well, but they're called potato farls or tatty farls. But we call them potato scones, and they're so good, so good. You can fry them up really crispy. Oh, lovely. Right, getting distracted again. Okay, so now I'm going to make a tomato sauce to go with the meatballs. So I'm just going to kind of throw stuff together. Love potato pancakes. So is that, oh is it? So that's a thing as well. That'd be interesting to see if they were the same, because I thought that was very much a Scottish thing. I wonder if they are. So would you have them for breakfast as well? How would you have them normally? That's quite interesting. Right, what do I want for this now? It's in the rest. Oh, see, now I just really want a potato scone. I've got a craving now. I mean, I'm sure this will be nice, but it's not a potato scone. There's a dinner ice. Ah. So would you have it with other stuff, like just as a kind of side? Because we would quite often have, because we love a fry up, so it's like a full English. But so you can make a full English, or you can change it to a full Scottish, and that just means that you add in a potato scone, some haggis, and some black pudding normally, and a full Scottish is much nicer than a full English. I've made potato latkes. Ah, it was more crunch. So what do you add to it that gives it crunch? Let me see if I've got another wee chunk of onion in the fridge. So for this I'm just going to make a quite simple sauce. I'm just going to start with a little bit of onion and a little bit of garlic again. Hash brown. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, because we would we would fry them in a little bit of oil, but not too much, and they are quite thin. Oh, I'm craving potatoes now, and I'm having spaghetti for dinner. It's quite disappointing. But yeah, I think with potatoes, I don't think you can beat a proper good cheesy garlicky mash. Nice and simple, but I would say that's the best kind of potato. Oh, sorry. I'll let you off, it's okay. I don't mind being made hungry, as long as I get to eat something at some point, I'll be okay. And now we have both cats come to see what's going on. Probably been a chef's dream. Yeah, that is it. And that's it. I spend most of my days, all day, every day, pretty much talking about food, or looking at food, or taking pictures of food, so I could just eat all the time. Right, hold on now. There they are. Just waiting patiently for their dinner. And they'll probably just get in my way now. Oh, wrong one. There we go. That's alright. Yeah, they're best friends at the moment, but not for long. They wind each other up, so it won't be long before I've got two fighting cats behind me, probably. Right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in the pan. potatoes. Are they related? Yes, they are. They are, well, it was a bit of a strange one. So when we got them from a shelter, and so basically they were found on a farm, and there was one mum and two dads. So I think we reckon that they probably are full brother and sister, but there's a chance they could be half brother and sister. But I reckon they are full brother and sister because they're quite alike in some ways. Right, so I'm going to pop the onions in the pan. Oh, that's nice and warm already. There we go. Yeah, I'm definitely a cat person. What about you guys? Cats or dogs? And to my onion, I'll wait a few seconds and then I'll add the garlic. I'm going to grab, they look like siblings. Yeah, I think they are. They've got exactly the same eyes. Colour of mixer. Which one, this one? Yeah, I do like the colour. Oh, what's my recipe? Yeah, I do love that. Yeah, it is. It's a very good mixer. Although I almost broke it fairly recently. I was baking and I put in a lump of brown sugar, which I think it was probably too old. That I shouldn't have been using it anymore, and it was in a lump. So I put it in and I had the little whisk attachment on. Tried to whisk it and the whisk just bent around the sugar. So I need to get myself a new whisk attachment because at the moment if I put that on, it bangs round the whole of the bowl. So it's not pleasant, and it was a bit stupid of me, but yeah, I've learnt from that and I won't do it again. Hopefully. Close now, they can be fighting later. Yeah, they fight all the time. They wind each other up. As soon as one comes in, they start attacking each other, and sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's not. We use attachments to make pasta. We actually, yeah, I've got the pasta one that you sit on the front, and it makes pasta, and it's really good. I think I've only used it once. It's one of these things, to be fair, it's one thing I really want to get into more, because obviously gluten-free pasta is expensive. It's a lot more expensive than just regular pasta, and I eat a lot of pasta, so I think it would definitely be a good thing to be able to make. And I think it would be nice to be able to sort of mix different flours and stuff to kind of come up with some good flour mixes to use. So that's on my list of things that I want to do, and I've got it there ready. But it's one of these things it's a bit lazy, because I'm like, oh, I could either spend hours making it, or I could just nip to the shop and buy a bag, which is really bad. But I'd really like to make ravioli, because I really enjoy ravioli, and you don't get many gluten-free ones. So I would like to try that. I've heard it's quite difficult. So if anybody has any pasta making tips, do let me know, because it would be much appreciated. I'm going to grab some tomato puree. Ravioli, yes. Like fried ravioli. Fried? What? Ooh. So do you make them from scratch and then fry them? Or do you buy them and fry them? And then do you have it with a sauce? Like how? I don't think I've ever had fried raviolis before. Oh, for goodness sake. There we go. And then I'm going to add to this about a tablespoon of tomato puree, maybe a little bit more. I'll say 2. I love tomato puree. I haven't made gluten-free pasta before. I think my local, yeah. It's quite easy to get now actually. Most shops here have it as well, but I mean I would say on average it's probably about 3 or 4 times the price of the normal stuff. And if you eat quite a lot of it, that kind of adds up. So I think it's probably a cheaper thing that you could make yourself, but it's just that it's the effort, isn't it? You can do both. You can boil ravioli. Oh, that sounds amazing. So like breadcrumbed and fried. Yeah, that sounds like that's right up my street. Oh, I need to try that. So yes, I'm gonna need to try and make ravioli and then breadcrumb them and fry them. That does sound good. So what's your favourite filling for the ravioli? I would say I'm probably a sort of creamy mushroom and spinach. That would probably be my favourites, I would say. Right, I'm gonna grab some, just a little bit of red wine. Hakuna Matata 689, hello and welcome. Thanks for coming and watching. And this has been open. This is our problem. I always open bottles of wine to use for cooking, and then I don't use them. But that smells nice actually. Should have a wee glass of that later with it actually. It smells really good. So I'm going to put in about a glass of the wine, and then I want to increase my heat slightly because I want to start boiling the alcohol off. And I'll show you this. Even this already looks really, really nice. It looks nice and creamy. Whoa. You see that? So that's it all just starting to come together. And I think that's a tomato puree that does that. See it past the steam. So I'm still cooking it, and I am making meat-free meatballs. So they're vegan and they're made with mushrooms rather than meat. So they've got mushrooms and oats in them. And you just cook off the mushrooms with some onion and garlic, add some oats, pop them in the food processor and blitz them down, roll them into little balls, and they're in the fridge chilling just now, so once they're ready I can show you them before we then fry them. And then I'm now making a tomato sauce and some gluten-free spaghetti to have with it. And if I remember, I'll do some garlic bread. But I forgot to buy any bread today at the shop, so I'm going to have to see if I've got any in the freezer. You can have cheese and spinach, meat or just cheese. Oh yeah, that sounds lovely. I really like the cheese and spinach ones. I think they're probably my favourite ones. Though I've seen one here, it's a gluten-free one. I've never actually tried it, but it's got pumpkin and sage or butternut squashing sage, something like that, which I think sounds quite interesting as well. I'm not a huge pumpkin butternut squash fan unless it's in soup, but I think it might be quite nice with the sage in the ravioli. Do you have any potatoes? I do actually have potatoes. Oh, don't. See, that'll get me. I'm not really sure that's a lot. That's carb heavy, is it not then? If we've got spaghetti and garlic potatoes. I mean, it would be delicious, but that's quite a lot. Right, so that is, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this now. I'm not going to lie. I think a sauce always kind of makes a meal. And this is always a really easy and tasty sauce. But I might need to do garlic potatoes tomorrow. What would I have with garlic potatoes though? I really like, what is it, the Spanish, where is it patatas bravas, where you have it with like chicken, and then you've got the garlic potatoes with a little bit of kind of garlic mayo. That's good. So maybe try fried ravioli. Let me think. Yes, I definitely am, because that sounds, because I love pasta and I love fried things, so that sounds like that would be a winner for me. So yeah, I'll maybe just take a day and just spend the whole day just making pasta. pot's going mad, right? So that's, I would say that the wine's fairly well cooked off, so we should still get the taste of it, but not the alcohol, which is what we want. Try this too, it sounds so good. Yeah, so I think that might be what's involved in the Discord, so I'm gonna get that set up, and then if we all go away and make fried ravioli, we can come back and compare them all. And then we can do the same with the potato scones. So just add, oh, I spilled it. I knew I was going to do that. This is what I get for not wearing an apron. So I've added 1 tin of tomatoes. Just get that all out. And I've only got a tiny wee bit on me. Oh well. And just mix that through. Right, and then to this I'm going to add some herbs and a little bit of sugar, because you want that if you've got tomatoes. I think the sugar helps sort of bring out the flavour of the tomatoes. It's always good just to add even just a little bit. Will you let the meatballs go to room temperature before you fry them? No. I will do them from cold. I'm not sure if that's right or not, but I think, to me, I'm chilling them so that they keep their shape better. So hopefully that when they're cold they'll be a bit firmer, and then when I fry them that they'll stick like that, and I can properly get a nice colour on the outside. So that's my thinking behind that, and I'm pretty sure that's what I did the last time. It has been quite a long time since I've made them, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that's hopefully how that will work. So we shall see. But yeah, normally if they are a bit cooler, they should be a bit firmer. So otherwise you might start frying them, and if you try and sort of flip them, they'll maybe break apart a wee bit. Right, so that's our herbs in there. And then I'm going to get a little bit of sugar. So I'm going to put maybe about just a teaspoon of sugar. Yeah, that looks about right. So about a teaspoon of sugar, and then some balsamic vinegar, just to get a little bit of kind of a wee bit of sour. So that's probably about a teaspoon as well. I don't like to add too much at this stage. I'll add a little bit, and then I'll try it, and just before maybe add little bits if it's missing something. Right, so have I forgotten anything? No, that looks okay. So I'll show you that just now. And not knock the bottle of wine on the floor. So that's what our sauce looks like now. So it's a really, really easy and quick one. I'll just let that cook off a little bit. I'll maybe add a little bit of water if it starts getting too thick. And then I'll probably blitz it down so that it's smooth, because I much prefer a smooth sauce. I know some people quite like a chunky sauce, but I much prefer a smooth sauce. So if I'm making a sauce, I tend to blitz it and get rid of all the chunks. Right, so I'm going to leave that on there. Get rid of a couple of these bits. And then we can start looking at the frying off the meatballs. So I'm going to check to see if they are ready or if they're cool enough. And that's all I want to try. I wish I could send you all some to try. I'll send you the recipe and then you can try it. But I think that's the best I can do, unfortunately. Yes, I like smooth sauce. Yeah, makes sense, to smooth the sauce. Yep, I think that as well. It's even pasta sauces. I know a lot of people do like chunky, but if it's just a tomato sauce like that, I much prefer it smooth. I mean, if it had different things in it, I would maybe keep it a bit chunky, but if it's just a tomato sauce, I always blitz it. Smell-o-vision. Oh, if only. Can you imagine? I thought that was supposed to have happened by now. I feel like we've managed to get so much else done that shouldn't have been too difficult. Oh, the meatballs. How are we looking? So we have our mushroom meatless balls. So they're definitely a little bit firmer. Not a huge amount, but yeah, I think they'll be firm enough now when they're cold, so I'm not sure much else is going to happen with them. Oh, clip on it. Right, so I'm gonna maybe swap these over so that it's easier for me to do the meatballs. And just let that kind of simmer at the side. And that's probably a bit enough pan. I'm just going to wash this really quickly. Oh, my pan's gone mad. Calm down. That's the only thing with these, they're a wee bit temperamental, so you need to kind of keep an eye on them or they'll run away with themselves. There we go. Much better. Right, so for the meatballs, I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in the pan. Not too much, just enough for them just to kind of sit in. You don't want them really oily. Right, that's down as low as it can go and it's still bubbling away like mad, but I'll end up with tomato splatter everywhere, I think. That's the only problem. I find any time I make tomato sauce, it splashes everywhere. Right, I think we're down now. I think we're okay with that one. So we'll try with the second one, see how we go. I do apologise if this beeping is really loud. Right. Bit of a tidy up going on here. And then so basically we'll leave the tomato sauce on and then we'll fry off the mushroom balls and then I'll stick some spaghetti on. I'll possibly do that on the hob at the back because you don't really need to see how to cook spaghetti, I don't think. And then I'll bring it all together. I'll have a wee look and see if I can find some bread and try not be tempted by garlic potatoes. Oh. Right, that's heated up a wee bit now. I'm going to get my tongs. Right, we'll see how hot this is. Yeah, that sounds quite good. I'll try and move the oil about a wee bit. So again, in this I've only put in maybe about a tablespoon of oil because I don't like things too oily, but you just want enough that they're able to just kind of fry a wee bit on the bottom. So I'm just going to pop all of these in now. And the little baby one seems slightly pathetic, but it would be a shame to waste it, so we'll make a wee mini one. And then they should only need maybe a minute or two sort of on each side, and I'll just keep kind of turning them so that they're each bit's getting a bit of colour. Yes, I did double check the size of the pan. That's something I always do. I'll get the pan out and I'll put some oil in it, and then I'll go to put whatever it is that I've got in the pan, and the pan's normally far too small. So I thought I'll have a proper wee look and just check that this is going to be big enough, but it looks okay. I think I might need to put the heat up a wee bit. And we'll see how they go. I think my sauce is still cooking slowly. And then with the tomato sauce, it's always important to try it, to keep trying it to make sure that there's nothing missing, or if it needs more salt or more sugar or whatever, before you blitz it, and make sure that all the flavours are sort of in there. Oh no! They're sticking. I've not put enough oil in the bottom. And these are the worst tongs in the world. We had some that broke, and then I saw these on offer somewhere, and I thought, oh, they'll do, and they're a nice colour, and they are just horrific. They're so bad because they're rubber. If you try and like pick stuff up, they just bend. Pointless. Overhead cam, yeah, that's my next thing. I'm thinking I've got a shelf here, so I'm wondering if I could maybe even have a camera sort of coming out of here looking down, because I've got a lamp up there, so I don't know how that would work, but yeah, that's definitely something to look into. Oh, I think this is too hot now. Yeah, I've not done very well with these here. So as you're kind of turning them, you want to kind of squish them together a bit again, just to make sure they kind of keep the shape. Oh, they've all stuck a wee bit. This is where I wish I had like those, what is it, asbestos fingers, that I could just go in and use my fingers to turn them all around. But no, I won't do that, don't worry. Yes, I definitely need to get new tongs. The rubber end tongs, no. The rubber end tongs, they're absolutely hopeless. I didn't even think about it when I picked them up. I just thought, well, they're the only ones that they've got, and I need tongs, so they'll be fine. But they are hopeless. So I'll show you this just now. So that's what they're looking like. They're falling apart a little bit, but they're not too bad. And I can kind of push them together again as I'm turning them. So you can see there's a good bit of colour on there, and they're going to be a bit crispy. So they're not too bad. So we'll just give them... I've turned the heat down now as well, so hopefully that'll help a wee bit. And then I'll look to... Still delicious. I hope so. I'm looking forward to these now. And I remember the first time I made them, I did think, oh, I need to make those again. They were really nice. I think I've now put it down too much, but I'm just gonna leave it to do its thing. And what I'm gonna do now is stick a pot on and make the spaghetti. Because what time are we at? 6 o'clock-ish. That's how I would say that. We're getting close to dinner time. Let's have a good colour. Crispy, yes. They are going nice. They're getting a nice colour. They're going slightly crispy. So I am happy. And And the tomato sauce is looking good, so I'm going to boil the kettle. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'm going to boil the kettle and stick a pot on for the spaghetti. Oh, that's going to be loud, I think. And I've got the gluten-free spaghetti, which is maize and rice. 6 hours to here, so there we go. Perfect. I hope you've got something nice for your lunch. Yeah, so you can see they've got a kind of, can you see that? The colour of them is quite dark looking, but I have had this before and it is quite nice, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I just find with the gluten-free pasta, especially the spaghetti, you have to keep stirring it to make sure that it doesn't all stick together. So I need to remember that. Getting there. The pan is on, or the pot rather. When I'm doing pasta, I tend to put maybe about that much water, you see that? Put that much water in the pot with some salt, put the lid on, let it come to a boil, and then boil a kettle as well. And it just seems to speed up the process rather than sitting waiting for the water to boil. These are looking pretty good. I think I need to turn it up a bit now though. Only that much in the pot to begin with, and then I'll boil a full kettle and add that to the water, so that you're not having to do like 2 full kettles of water and wait for it to boil, or just put it all in the pot to begin with and wait for it to boil. I just find it's a bit quicker that way. There's probably not a lot of difference, but that's just how I do it. So I'll let that come to the boil again, and there's probably maybe about 2 litres of water in the pot now. Because it is spaghetti, yeah, I find that with the spaghetti you need a bit more, just to make sure you get enough to boil it in. I'm having a bit of stickage here. Oh, these tongs are hopeless. But yeah, I like the idea of the spoons. It might come to that because these are fairly hopeless for this. Now I'm going to try the spoons because that's new ways to cook could make a difference. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There might not be that much difference in it, but that's I feel like it does. It is a bit quicker that way. Right, let's try this. think that's a bit better actually. I feel like a surgeon or something with these now. And it's quite taut. Yeah, so I just want to kind of keep sort of turning them around so that you've got a bit of crisp on all sides. And the good thing with these is if they look a bit of a mess at this stage, you can always kind of smush them back together so that when you serve them they look perfect and no one would ever know that they're a bit smushed. Cannot get the temperature right on this today at all. It's either far too hot or far too cold. Oh, I think I've burnt my wee guy. Yeah, that was one of the cats sitting waiting behind me for his dinner, but he's given up now. Smushed and crispy, yes. That's what you want from a meatball. A smushed and crispy meatball sounds delicious. It does taste much nicer than it sounds, I promise. Yeah. So we're not too bad now. They just keep sticking to the pan. Yes, we're getting there. I think soon. The thing with this is you've cooked the mushrooms already. So really at this stage all you're looking for is a bit of crisp. You don't need them to properly sort of cook again. I'm going to take this one out. I know, I always wonder, I could add more oil. I always get a bit worried though that if I add cold oil to a hot pan that the meatballs are just going to soak up the oil. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's kind of how I would think of it in my head. But I think, to be honest, these are nearly done. And I think if I had better tongs, that would also have made a difference. But you live and you learn. And I mean, they are still sort of round shaped, so we're not too far off. Yeah, I'll show you them now and you can give me your honest opinion. It's a good fun trick. Yeah, that's it. And the thing is, with these things, I always think it might not look the best, but as long as it tastes nice, that's the main thing. A non-stick skillet should help also. This should be non-stick, but I think I've had it that long that the non-stick's kind of not really, it's not really there anymore, so I maybe need to get myself a new one. So that's what they look, oh, where are we? There we are. So that's what they look like now. So they don't look too bad at all, I would say. They're getting a bit of colour. So I would say they're just about done. And then I can show you my one little, I mean look, he got a little bit burnt. Just the one little guy. So, but I'm sure they'll still taste good. just slightly overdone. Right, so I'm going to just move these around once more, just to make sure sort of all of the sides are, they've got a bit of colour. Because that's probably the other thing, the more that you kind of play about with these, the more they're likely to fall apart. It's just me being impatient though, that's the problem. look really good actually. Some of them look like proper little meatballs, and then some of them are a bit misshapen. But then you can't be a bit misshapen. Right, so I think I'm going to leave that there, because I've got the feeling that if I keep playing with it, it's just going to get worse. So I think I'll stop there for that one. So I'll put that off, because obviously the pan's still hot, so it'll still kind of cook a little bit while it's on there. The tomato sauce is looking good. I'm going to try a little bit just to see how it is. And my pasta water is boiling. Oh, you can taste the wine in that. I think it maybe needs a tiny bit more sugar. And then another thing I like to do with these is I like to put, once I've plated it all up and I've got the tomato sauce on the meatballs, I'll then put a tiny little scoop of green pesto just on the top, and then you can kind of mix it through, and that gives it just that extra wee taste. So it means then as well, if anything's slightly under salted, then you'll get a bit extra salt from the pesto. Because I find I do that all the time, especially with pasta. My pasta's always under salted. Right. So I don't want these to burn on there. See, that's it. I'm quite hot, but I can kind of turn them. No, maybe not. Yeah, no, they're okay. Right, I'm going to stick my spaghetti in. With a towel. So I'm just going to do, I always find portioning, I know that it's a kind of a running joke, but I always find portioning with pasta really difficult. So I kind of go by roughly 100 grams per person. I know that's probably quite a big portion, but I like a lot of pasta. I mean, you probably wouldn't need as much as that because you've got the meatballs with it, but yeah, I think I looked it up, and I'm sure they said that the recommended pasta portion was like 70 or 80 grams. But I don't feel like that's enough. I definitely feel like you could do with a bit more than that, so I'm going to do about 100 grams. I'm going to do 100 grams, and then I put some in and I'm like, oh, just add a wee bit more. It doesn't look like a lot. Right, so I'm going to leave that on now for 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, so that apparently takes 8 to 10 minutes, so I've just set a timer. I'll need to go back a couple of times and just stir it, because especially gluten-free spaghetti, it sticks together like glue, and if you don't keep an eye on it, you end up with just chunks of spaghetti, which it's not very nice. Right, and then I'm going to get my little hand blender and blitz up the sauce. I've not done garlic bread. Did I need to do garlic bread? What do we think? Do we need garlic bread with this recipe, or do we not need it? I can't decide. I'm going to look in the freezer and see if I've got any bread. Right, I think it's a sign. I found some bread, so I'm going to do a couple of bits of garlic bread. I'm actually just going to use this again when it's here. So that just means I need to put the oven on. Move the tray out of the way. Oh, I've got a lot of things going on now. I was cooked my pasta too early and it clumps up in the strainer when it starts to go cold, and you just get this solid mess in your strainer, and then you try and put the sauce through it, and oh, there's nothing worse. Because what is it? I think the Italians have like a thing where they say the sauce can wait for the pasta, but the pasta can't wait for the sauce. But I'm always the same. I always get my timings wrong and end up with pasta ready, and then you think, well, the sauce will heat it back up again, but then it just makes a mess. Right. See, that's me. I've given myself too many things to do now. Right, so for the garlic bread, I'm just going to, I've got 2 bits of bread, literally just 2 bits of frozen toast, so we'll see how that goes. Gluten-free bread is so expensive, so I use it sparingly, and if I don't use any of it, it goes straight in the freezer because I'm not throwing away any of that. Stepped away from it, not a problem. Nice to see you back. We're nearly there, we've got all sorts of things. See you around. Thank you very much. I appreciate the follow. I hope you have a good afternoon, and do let me know if you ever try this, or if you try mushrooms in general. Right, so I've got, thank you very much. Got my 2 bits of bread. I'm going to get a little bowl out, and I've just got some dairy-free spread here, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that. A little bit of dairy-free spread. Wouldn't need too much because you are just sort of spreading it on the bread. If I can get it off the spoon. Thank you, have a good day. And then I'm going to be quite lazy with this one, just because I don't feel like pressing more garlic. So I'm just going to use some garlic granules and just pop them. So maybe that's what, half a teaspoon? Oh, because it's quite strong, so you don't want too much. So I'm just going to kind of mix that around a little bit. And I'm going to add just a little bit of herbs. And just mix that in as well. You can see that there. So I've just kind of pressed that through it. It's not the easiest, but that's going to kind of come together now. And that's just the garlic powder and some herbs. And then once you've got that kind of mixed together, you can just spread it on the bread, What was in the bag? So it's a herb mix. I'll show you on this one. So it's my own, actually one of my own products. It's a herb mix that is gluten-free, vegan, and it doesn't contain any of the things that can upset people with IBS. So there's no onion or garlic or anything like that in it. No artificial sweeteners or nothing artificial at all. And I put it on absolutely everything. It's available to buy on my website. It's not available yet for the US purely because I'm trying to figure out the shipping. But I am on it, so it will be available soon. But I literally put it in everything. If there's anything that needs herbs, that's what I use because I do think it's really tasty. Right. So I'm gonna sort this out and then, yeah, so that looks all nice and mixed now. And then just pop this. Thank you very much. I really like it, and it's mainly to help. I mean, to be honest, most of the people that have tried it so far don't have any dietary requirements, and they all think it's really tasty. And it's just a quick way of adding flavour to stuff. And you can put it on meat, fish, potatoes, veggies. You can add it to salads, all sorts. So it gets used a lot in my house. So I'm just putting the butter on these bits of bread. I hope this will work actually. I've never tried it with frozen bread yet, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Right, and then we'll pop these in the oven. I think they should only take maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, something like that. So that's just them there. Probably doesn't look like much, but that's them ready. Next question was, can you put on meat, seafood? Yeah, so you can pretty much put it on anything. It can go on different meats, it can go on chicken, it can go on fish. I've not tried it on other seafood, but I'm sure it'd be just as nice on that as well. Okay, I'm going to try my spaghetti. Yeah, I think that's about ready. So all we need to do now is get the sauce sorted, and then we can plate up, and that's about us ready. I'm going to get my hand blender out. This off. I think that should be hot enough now. Yep, that looks alright. I'll probably drain the pasta first because otherwise I'll forget and it'll be overcooked. I apologise. Right, so I get space up there. Right, so I'll pop the spaghetti there, ready to go. Hand blender, there it is. I just want to blend down the sauce just so that it's smooth. Like I said before, it's just, I think it tastes nicer when it's smooth as well. So I apologise if this is loud for a second, but I'll be as quick as I can. I always end up mixing it for far too little time and then it's ready and I go, oh, I wish I'd made that a bit smoother. I would say that looks good. I like those hand blenders. Yeah, I love the hand blenders as well, they're so handy. Right. Oh, that looks good. So I'll show you that now. One of these. Oh, hold on, caught. So that's the sauce now. Looks nice and smooth. It's quite thick, so you probably could add a little bit of water if you wanted it a little bit thinner, but I quite like a thick sauce, especially with pasta. So I think that's ideal for me. And then we've got all our other bits and pieces, so I'm going to grab a bowl. The garlic bread is doing something. I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take, but it's getting there. And I'm going to just grab a little bit of pesto. So I find quite often if I make pasta, I find that for a couple of portions I don't always need a full thing of pesto. So I've quite often got a little bit left over, and this is quite good because you just want literally just a little teaspoon on top that you can kind of mix through it all. So right, so I'm going to start putting this together. I think my garlic bread should be ready quite soon. I'm not sure that's really working with the frozen bread, but we shall see. Where's mine? And I've got my spaghetti spoon. There's probably a technical term for this, but I absolutely love it. It makes spaghetti so much easier. Maybe actually show you if you can maybe see me plating up there as well then. So we just want, and that's actually worked not too badly. It's not stuck together too much. Sometimes it's just such a mess. Oh, Purple Coffins is just finished. Hello Minnesota Toz, thank you very much for joining. I was actually watching Purple Coffin earlier on. Spaghetti, yes, we're making spaghetti. Hello Purple Coffin, thank you very much for the raid. A fellow Scottish streamer, yes. I don't think there are very many of us, especially not ones that do cooking, so when I found you earlier I thought, oh, I'll need to follow you. It's just a shame that I missed the end of your stream. Are you a new food streamer? Yes, I am. I have only been, this is my third stream just. So I started on Sunday, but I do food blogging, so I'd been doing that before for a while, but I started streaming just on Sunday. So I've done a few, really enjoying it so far, quite enjoying the chat. It's been good. So excited to find more cooking streamers, so happy you found me. I know I'm the same, because I think, I'm not really a gamer. It's not something I've ever really got into, but cooking and food I absolutely love. So this for me is ideal, and it gives me somebody to chat with while I'm cooking, so I'm more than happy. Welcome to the world of streaming. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, Salted Dragon. Do you like curry? Yes, I am a huge fan of curry. Any curry really. I don't think there's a curry I don't like, as long as it's not too spicy. I don't do well with it if it's too spicy, but if it's a nice mild curry, yeah. With rice, and I'm going to send you a DM to check it after your stream. Okay, that sounds interesting. If the DM's got curry in it, then yeah, that sounds good to me. Right, so how did your stream go, Purple Coffins? Was it was potato soup in the bread bowl, wasn't it? It looked amazing, and that's the kind of thing I like as well. Although my problem is I eat gluten free, and to try and get nice tasting bread rolls is really difficult, and especially ones that are like that hold their shape well enough and that are the right size to put soup in. Excuse me. Thank you. I hope that's a good thing. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. Oh, for goodness sake, thank you very much for all the follows. The Lady Liv, Salted Dragon, Cake JS, Evil Hopper, Minnesota Toz, Even Star 8909. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Much, much appreciated. Went really well. We didn't make it into a bread bowl in the end because it was still hot when the soup was done. Ah, yeah, my sister's. Oh, a sourdough starter. I've seen quite a lot of those recently, and I'm intrigued. I'm kind of tempted, but I think I would be interested to see how she gets on with it, because I'd like to see. I've not seen like the full journey to see if it actually works well. And it'd be nice to see if it works, and then I might give that a go as well, because I do love a sourdough, and it's not something you really get a good one of that's gluten free, so it'd be good to be able to make my own. Right, so as you've just all joined, I'll let you know what I was doing. So I've made, it's all vegan, all gluten free. I'm not vegan, but I try and kind of adapt recipes and eat as much sort of vegan food as I can. So I've made meatless meatballs with mushrooms, which I can show you here. I had a bit of a disaster. A couple of them are slightly browner than I would like, but they should still be quite tasty. So, and then we've got a tomato sauce for on top, which is just a really, really simple one. Some gluten-free spaghetti. I nearly forgot about the garlic bread in the oven. No, we're okay. It needs another minute or two, so that's fine. We've got garlic bread in the oven, and then a little bit of pesto on the top. I think that'd be really cool if it works. Yeah, definitely. Because it's so hard to get sort of interesting gluten-free products, so that would be really interesting. I find it quite daunting, the thought of making a sourdough. The fact that it basically sounds as if it's alive. And I don't know how I feel about it. It sounds really daft, but yeah, it kind of freaks me out a wee bit. But I know that soda bread or sourdough bread is really, really tasty, so it would be interesting to see. Right, so I'm just going to plate up now and try not to forget about my garlic bread that's in there. So I'm just going to stick a few of these little mushroom meatballs on the top. So I managed to make 9 and a tiny little one, and so that's what, 4 and a bit for one portion, I would say. Stay where you are. There we go. I have a follower who has an eggs brown bread. Oh, fresh yeast. Oh yeah, that scares the life out of me as well. It's all these things. It's like, because when they talk about all like the different bacteria and stuff, and it does sound as if it's alive, I tend to just use the little sachets of instant yeast, and I find that, it normally works okay. Gluten-free bread doesn't really rise anyway. I think because one of the main things is it needs the gluten to help it bind and to help it rise. But anytime I'm doing it, I just use the little packets. I don't even know where I would buy fresh yeast. I've never actually seen it anywhere to buy, so I would probably need to have a bit of a hunt for that first. The gluten catches the bubbles, yeah. And that's one thing that you find with gluten-free bread is quite often you'll buy a loaf and half of it will be a big hole. I don't know how they manage it, but that happens so often. And I can spend at least £3 on a loaf of bread, which is extortionate, and then you cut it open and it's mainly just this one big hole, so you can't even really use it for sandwiches or toast or anything. It's such a waste. But I think that's probably why it would be good to try and make my own. But at the moment I'm sticking to sort of cooking. I'm definitely more a cook than a baker. So I'm just dolloping some of this sauce over the top. I'm glad it's dinner time, I'm getting hungry now. I think that'll do. I like a lot of sauce on my pasta, so I think that'll do me just now. I can always come back for more if I need it. Check on my garlic bread quickly. I think that looks okay actually. This was a bit of an experiment because I only had frozen bread that I just put got some butter, some dairy-free butter, a little bit of garlic granules and some herbs, mix that together and just spread it on the top, and it seems to have worked quite well. Oh, it's roasting. So that should do for that one. And then I've just got a little bit of pesto, just for that extra wee kick on the top. Plus it looks nice because I've not got any fresh basil or anything, so you've got a wee bit of green there with the pesto. And then we'll just make the toast look a bit fancier. And there we go. Hold on, I'll clean up a wee bit. I've made a bit of a mess, but so that's what the finished article looks like. So I would say that looks pretty good. I'm quite excited to try this for my dinner. Thank you very much for the follow, sweet vegan. Much appreciated. I'll pop that back in, there we go. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. I've made this recipe once before, and it worked really, really well. It was really, really tasty, and I'm just a huge pasta fan, so anything to do with pasta and I'm on it. So I think I'm gonna go and enjoy this now. So I've been on for 2.5 hours, longest stream yet, so so that's always good. So I'm gonna go and eat my dinner because I'm starving. I hope you all have something nice to eat, whatever time of day it is where you are. I hope you enjoy your soup, Purple Coffins. I'm quite jealous. I do love a good potato soup. I've made it, no, I didn't even make it. I had it once in a hotel for room service, and it was so good. So it'd be nice to try it. I'll definitely have to have a wee nosy and see if I can find your recipe somewhere. It was lovely to meet you too. Thanks very much again for the raid. I will get used to knowing what all of these things are, but enjoying it so far. So does that mean I should raid someone else? I don't even know how to. Thank you very much for the follow, Sky Pep. Lovely to have you here. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to turn that one off because you don't need to see my arm while I'm. If I could figure out how to raid, I would, but I'm not sure how you do. Type. Ah, right, okay. So I need to go and have a wee nosy. If you have any suggestions of who could do with a raid, let me know. As I said, I'm quite enjoying just sort of going around Twitch and seeing who's out there, and there's some really, really good cooking streams that I'm really, really enjoying. Oh, Chef John Reed's on. Oh, oh, for goodness sake. Right, sorry. Right, I'm gonna go on. So if I do that in the chat, is that right? Oh, really? I watched him yesterday. Yeah, he is really good. So if I type this in the chat, is that what's gonna happen? Let's give it a bash. Type raid and then a username. Do you need to do the @ or can you just type the username? No problem, Gravious Mink. I'll come up with a box at the top. I feel like I'm being really thick. No, that didn't seem to work. I think I've done something wrong here. I'm sure I did allow raids and things. Because I'm doing this in, is it the Stream Elements one? Am I in the wrong place maybe? That is possible. Oh, I wish I could. I'm really enjoying finding out all these new things and figuring out how to do things. It takes me a wee while, but I'm getting there. I wonder if I can do that.
You see it on the north side of the map?
No. That's weird. Right, I'm gonna try it one more. Oh, it's come up. Hold on. There we go. I think it's working now. Hold on. Okay. Chef John Reed, let's try this. If it works, thank you all for coming to watch. Have a lovely day. I hope to see you all again soon. Purple Coffins, thanks very much again for the raid. And lovely to meet you. And hopefully we'll be able to chat again soon. So I'm going to try this and see if it works. And hope everybody has a great rest of the day. I'll see you soon. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. What's his username? Oh, for goodness sake. Chef John Reed. I'm sure that is what I did right. I'll try one more time, and if this doesn't work, then no, it's not loving it. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to go away and figure this out another time. It's not for doing it. But yes, I'll work on that for the next one. But yes, I hope everybody has a great day, evening, whatever it is where you are. And I'll see you all soon. Cheers, bye!